Good afternoon, viewers. Here is a fairly candid review of the Metal Mate mini lathe. These guys have been up for sale for a couple of years now. I've had mine for about a year and a half. I've ended up buying quite a collection of accessories that are worth more than the machine itself. But the machine itself we're retailing for about $550. Minus about $100 for shipping. When mine arrived, however, I really got a dud at the end of the run because the electronics box was broken, the variable speed and the on-off, that was all no good. The chuck had quite a lot of jiggle in the bearings, and it was not properly assembled, and there was a broken knob on the machine work. So yeah, a bit of a disaster really. But anyway, I ended up paying $200 for it and spending an extra $250 on accessories anyway, like this enormous chuck, which has really been fantastic. So I had a bit of a problem with my Singer sewing machine, which is not surprising because it has plastic gears and it's about 30 years old. 35 years old actually. It was a wedding gift for my mum before I was born, or exactly when I was born, which makes it actually 35 years old. So I've got this guy here, not sure how to get it in the light, but the sewing machine had nylon gears in it. So naturally you can go on the internet and buy a full set for about $6.50 shipped from China for an additional $6. $12 for a full set of gears for a 35-year-old sewing machine. Obviously they actually look like they're 3D printed, so I'm sure they're complete rubbish, and we'll probably just end up sending bits of broken gear around the rest of the sewing machine. But anyway, thus is my impressions of a sewing machine with plastic gears anyway. I'm not too concerned. But I did go down to the local shop and found this. It's a little replacement, almost the same, but because it is a Singer sewing machine, which I used to think was a good thing, not only do they use plastic gears, but the shaft sizes, the internal shaft sizes, are slightly different. And they are so different that when I came to lathe a shim to go on the shaft inside the sewing machine and fit the new gear on, it was quite difficult because, as you can see, that is arguably the best bit of lathe work I've done in my life, other than when I was working with old English lathes at high school 20 years ago. And I've really done very little with this machine, so so for 2 hours work and 3 attempts, that is an incredible piece of machining. From both sides, it is rock solid and magnificent. So if you can see down in there, the hole itself, it's not perfectly round, but 0.2 millimeters is the thin firewall, is the side of the wall of that. 0.2 millimeters, and the other side's about 0.3. In fact, when I came to clean up this drill hole with a kitchen knife, I was literally able to cut it away just with the pressure behind my thumb. Such is the fantasticness of this work. So anyway, I'm going to show you the machine and just how it goes on there. I've had to buy a few new belts for the lathe, which is not surprising. And for the electronics, what I'm using is this step-down voltage converter, which and this variac. This variac has obviously got adjustable voltage, which steps down to 250 or 240 or whatever I want, and then this halves that voltage again, 2 to 1, and this guy's got a capacitor and a bridge rectifier in there. So not exactly complies with the letter of the law, but it's supposed to, because this does step up and down converter. which means it is actually legal. However, I later found out when I was mildly electrocuted that this isn't a step up and down transformer. It's actually it's got a common live neutral, and it's not a proper transformer. It's not an isolation transformer. Anyway, I'm going to show you the sewing machine, which I don't recommend you buy, nor an MSKJ 500. I also bought the 200 and the 1000 as well because they were very cheap, and now we know why. Here's the machine here, a couple of $100 sewing machine 35 years ago. And to fix my trampoline mat, which is arguably the reason for the broken gear, I went out and paid $9 a roll for 2 rolls of German string, nylon string, which I cannot break. And very thin stuff. That's actually quite thick compared to normal cotton, but I cannot break it by pulling it. It literally just cuts into my hand. So there's not a lot of light here. I might actually be able to turn it around a bit. But that's the gear that it meshes with. That's my new gear. And as you can see, this is from a machine that looks almost exactly the same. An old guy sold me this from the local sewing machine shop. From an identical singer. I saw him have an identical machine there. And as you can see, they very cleverly make it not fit, yet the gear is exactly the same. The gear meshes perfectly, but this is a 6/32 of an inch drill bit. I needed to drill it out. It's a rather obscure metric imperial size, but we did manage to get it. And this, as you can see, does go on there, which is just fan-bleeding-tastic, so perfect. And thus is the outside bit. So we've got a sewing machine, which means my trampoline mat, I can finish the last 10% of it and get back to working off my pizza. So that means I can eat junk food along with my 2 servings of vegetable soup a day and get back to building free energy machines. Go check them out on my channel. Nice to meet you. Perth, Western Australia. Trampoline mat.